They told you freedom was a choice. Go to school, get good grades, stay quiet, follow the rules, earn gold stars, be a good kid. Later, get the job, buy the house, pay off the debt, make your parents proud, fit in, work weekends if needed. They framed the cage as achievement. The system sold you checklists as purpose. But real freedom was never offered, it was swapped for comfort. Conditioned obedience in a digital age. From your earliest memories, you were rewarded for compliance. Raise your hand. Memorize the chapter. Forget creativity, follow the rubric. Learn to sit still. That wasn't education. It was early factory training. They didn't teach you how to think. They trained you what to believe. And slowly, you became fluent in limitation. Don't question. Just perform. This wasn't just about school, it was your entry protocol into the matrix. What is the matrix? It's not wires or chips, it's not in your phone or your computer. It's a psychological operating system encoded in expectations, silently running in the background of your every decision. Most people never see it because they never pause long enough to question what they're living for. The matrix thrives on distraction, on productivity, on achievement addiction. And so you were raised to chase. Grades became jobs, jobs became titles, titles became identity. Somewhere along the way, purpose got traded for performance. You were not being guided, you were being calibrated. Fit into a structure, check the boxes. Be employable, conform. And here's the wild part, it doesn't feel like control. It feels like success, but comfort isn't freedom. And when you slow down and breathe, when you ask, whose dream am I chasing? The cracks begin to show. Because beneath the status and symbols, there's a restlessness, a whisper, a glitch. You were never meant to survive your life, you were meant to shape it. And if that idea terrifies you, good. That's where liberation begins. You were not born broken. You were born into programming. From childhood, your ideas about money, time, and identity were written by someone else's pen. Maybe your parents struggled. Maybe they told you things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard for everything you get. And you believe it because kids believe everything the people they depend on say, and so the blueprint was set, not just for how you relate to money, but for how you relate to self-worth. You began associating security with self-sacrifice and ambition with guilt. You started measuring your value not by how alive you felt, but by how productive, how busy, how agreeable you could be. And when the system saw you fall in line, it applauded. Good citizen, hardworking adult, but let's call it what it is, exhausted compliance. Even now, most people live in a trance of responsibility. They wake up, scroll through someone else's life, grab caffeine to mask their fatigue, work a job they tolerate to afford a lifestyle they don't question. And on weekends, they temporarily escape, but never enough to change anything. They binge on pleasure to numb the pain, and then they post filtered photos to pretend they're fine. But deep inside, they know they're stuck in a feedback loop. Earn, spend, scroll, repeat. And here's the trap, they're not stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because the system rewards you for staying small. Because the matrix doesn't want creators, it wants consumers. It doesn't want rebels, it wants reactors. And it especially doesn't want you to realize that money, time, and freedom are not earned, they're claimed. But you can't claim what you don't believe you deserve, and your beliefs, they've been hijacked. Look around, almost every app on your phone is designed to trigger comparison, urgency, and artificial desire. You don't want half the things you think you want. Your goals are often reflections of fear, not inspiration. You buy status symbols to feel safe. You chase approval because you don't trust your own intuition. And this right here is the true cost of the matrix. It teaches you to doubt your inner knowing and outsource your purpose to algorithms and expectations. So you build your identity around survival, the job, the grind, the schedule, the mask. You perfect the performance, but you forget who you were before the performance started. And when you try to stop, even just for a moment, you feel guilt. That's not your guilt. That's inherited guilt passed down from generations that never had the luxury of questioning the script, but you do. And that's the beginning of liberation. When you begin to ask, who am I outside of productivity? What do I value if no one's watching? Am I living from fear or alignment? You start to break the loop, but it won't feel easy. Because your nervous system is addicted to the familiar. And familiar, even when painful, feels safer than unknown freedom. So the matrix convinces you to stay small in exchange for safety. It will whisper, "Don't rock the boat. Be grateful you have a job. Who do you think you are to want more?" But those aren't truths, they're spells. Psychological contracts you didn't consent to. And the moment you break those contracts, everything changes. You stop being predictable. You stop being programmable. You start thinking like a sovereign. That's the shift the system fears most. Not rebellion, not resistance, clarity, because a clear mind cannot be controlled. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, good. That means your old identity is crumbling. That means the mask is slipping. And in its place, your real self is starting to breathe again. This is where the escape begins. Not with rage, but with rewiring. Not with rebellion, but with remembering who you were before they taught you to forget. Because the truth is, you don't need to break out of the matrix, you need to outgrow it. That starts with one radical act, reclaiming your inner authority. No more outsourcing decisions to fear. No more shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. No more settling for identities that make other people comfortable. You came here to create, not to comply. You came here to build something real, not perform for likes. So let's get tactical. Step 1. Detox. Not just digital detox, but mental, emotional, financial detox. Unsubscribe from people who drain your focus. Unfollow ideas that make you feel behind. Cancel the emotional debt you've been carrying for years. And yes, log off from the algorithm long enough to hear your own voice again. Step 2. Income detachment. You are not your job title, and you're not your earning level. Learn a skill that multiplies content, copywriting, storytelling, consulting, community building, product creation. Replace the mindset of hard work equals worth with aligned value equals leverage. Learn to build income streams that honor your zone of genius. If you're stuck in a job, don't demonize it, but don't get married to it either. Your job is not your identity. It's your sponsor while you build the real you. Step 3. Rewire your nervous system. This is the hard part because it has nothing to do with money and everything to do with safety. If wealth feels unsafe, you will sabotage it. If freedom feels unfamiliar, you will reject it. That's not weakness, it's biology. So start small, practice receiving, breathe before reacting, journal daily. Create without apologizing, rest without guilt. Reconnect to your desires, not just the ones society applauds, but the ones your soul whispers when no one's around. Relearn stillness, reclaim boredom. Because your best ideas, your deepest truths, they live in silence, not the noise. And finally, step 4, give yourself full permission to pivot, to evolve, to slow down, to question everything. The matrix will try to make you feel selfish for choosing freedom. It will call your clarity arrogance, your peace laziness, your rebellion delusion. Don't listen. The matrix doesn't fear noise, it fears stillness. It doesn't fear outbursts, it fears sovereignty. You don't need another degree, another job, another badge of approval. You need alignment. And alignment begins when you stop performing and start remembering. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not hard to love. You are not here to be efficient. You are here to be free. So pause, look at your life. Ask the hard questions, and then ask even harder ones. Because the answers you seek are never found in algorithms, they're found in awareness. That moment when you realize nothing outside you will ever give you the freedom you have been craving. It has to come from within. That's what FinFlix is here for. Not just to inform you, but to activate you. To wake you up. To help you turn your inner chaos into clarity. You felt the dissonance. Now take the next step. Subscribe. Rewatch this episode. Journal the prompts that landed. Share the lines that cracked you open. And then start building your exit, because there's no someday on the calendar. And no one's coming to unplug you. This is your moment. This is your mirror. This is your permission. You were never free. But now you can be. Thanks for watching the official FinFlix. See you in the next video.